Sorry, I was just wondering, the price, the cost of some of these made in Nigeria goods compared to some of the other ones are really expensive. And that's an impediment to a lot of people who ordinarily would have liked to buy or patronize made in Nigeria goods. So even if we put in place all of those laws without addressing why are they more expensive, wouldn't we be papering over cracks?
Oh, fantastic, Tambale, and that's why, it's a whole value chain, So if you talk of patronage, I think you also have to talk of the conditions under which the goods are produced. And I think the discussion this week at the Economic Summit is about how to create an environment for ease of business. The World Bank report on the ranking of countries in terms of ease of business, Nigeria ranked very poorly, almost about 169 on the ladder. I mean, the countries like Rwanda, Mauritius, South Africa, they are quite ahead of us. And what is the miracle? They have uninterrupted power supply. I mean, Brazil is talking of 70,000 megawatts of installed capacity of electricity, affordably made available. And that impacts on their production cost, so that their production cost is so low, and then it also affects the prices. So, but the challenge is for us to make sure we lower the cost of production in this country. And it's been done before. I mean, 176 million people, that's the largest market in Africa. And if you also combine the ECOWAS sub-region, which is about 300 million people, I mean, combined together, where Nigerians are even the key players there. I mean, because we virtually control Ghana, Togolese economy, that's a big economy. So the challenge is to lower cost of production, make the input cheaper so that manufacturers can also lower their price. But you are not going to leave your citizens to be patronizing so-called cheaper goods, which in the long run are very expensive. I mean, you can even see with some of the mobile phones we are bringing, and some of them are causing terrible, health hazards. Some of them even leading to fire outbreak. Some of the textile goods we bring, some of them are second-hand goods. They repackage them as new, but they are similarly cheap. I mean, in terms of pricing, but in real terms, once you put them into water, they get washed off. I mean, compared to ours, that relatively, we may say more expensive, but it lasts longer in the long run. But the bottom line is that whether the price is cheaper or high, once it's Nigeria, the money retains here. We can create jobs and then revive most of our industries.
You're talking about the impediments to made in Nigeria. Chairman just asked you that question as to when it's more expensive, how do we expect the average person to be able to buy made in Nigeria? You've talked about, but do you have confidence that moving forward, this conversation would actually spur people to action or to buy more made in Nigeria? What markers do you think we should have to know if this conversation has had impact?
Well, I think we see it in the fact that the inventories of the companies must have, been drawn down. That means most of the goods they produce, the warehouses must have been emptied, because that shows patronage. Not only that, capitalization of industry must have gone up. We see the evidences, and the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria reports shows that, with some of the awareness now, capitalization is increasing, And those will be the concrete evidence. But I was also excited with the president's opening remark, which means we must produce locally, and that the way to go, practical diversification, is that we must produce goods and services and not possibly move to export-led. Now, to do so means that we must address the conditions under which businesses operate in this country, not just businesses, including labor. Because don't forget that business is run by labor. It's the working people that actually run the factories, So we have to make life a bit more easier. That's what they call ease of businesses, And there was a whole session yesterday in which they brought experiences from Rwanda and Kenya.
So are you confident that on the back of those, of the sharing of those experiences, we hope to see an improvement?
In fact, I was completely taken aback that we have to take an example for Rwanda, because it should be the other way around, including Kenya. But if the smaller countries could get it done, why not us? And what are the issues? Constant electricity supply, lowering of input cost. I mean, as I'm talking to you now, our companies are made to buy gas, and the gas supply company domicile the price in dollars. They charge in dollars, and which is always unstable every day. You can't plan with that. With this territory, those are the things that we need to discuss. But the last one, let me quickly wrap up on this, is that my takeaway from the experiences of relatively ease of business in Rwanda and Kenya is that they have development plan. Rwanda has Vision 2020, so they have a time lag for them to beat. Kenya is talking of 2030. Development plan. I think we should also strategize to have a development plan for this country. And we used to have, talking of 2020, nobody talks about it, so that there will be benchmark to say next year, the areas we have moved in ease of business, so that within the ranking, Nigeria must have moved forward, and it will impact. Because no country
I'm afraid we have to wrap up at this point.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming. We've been speaking with Comrade Issa Aremu, who is NEC member of the NLC and Secretary General, Alumni Association of National Institute in Kuru, Jos. He's also the Vice President, Global Industrial Union. That will be it. It's back to you, gentlemen in Lagos, as we wrap up.
Oh yes, indeed. Will be interesting focusing on this in subsequent days and program. That's the show today. We thank you all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Oso.
Many thanks. I'm Sulaiman Alede.
And thank you, I'm Maukbe Ogun.